Hello, my name is Ghost, and welcome to... let's move this over here. Sorry, I have to do all of this in one take, so we're going to be having a lot of fun. Alright, so hello, my name is Ghost, and today I thought we'd, as the title says, talk about, how Northgard is going to be handling the game once it's released. At least currently so far, we have a very strong multiplayer presence, but we don't know whether this game is looking to be more of a single or team competitive game. And what I mean by that is, when you click on the main menu, you click multiplayer, and then whenever the magical ranked game is unlocked and you click ranked match, what kind of setting is that? Is it a single player 1v1, or is it more like a team competitive? And then in that case, what kind of size? Is it a 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, 5v5? What kind of game would we be looking at? And I think that's something that needs to be discussed, because especially for us as a community, we have a very big say in how we want the game to be released, and I think that it's important for us as a community to try and get that across before anything is set. Obviously, that it means a lot. So in this video, we'll be going over the single player pros and cons, and then the multiplayer or team competitive pros and cons. And then, I don't know, I'll probably just be throwing in my little 2 cents here and there. So for the single player pros, we have obviously to the side here, the very biggest and shiniest one we have is a larger prize pool per person. So if you have a $100 prize pool, obviously, and the 70% of the prize pool goes to first place. Second place gets probably about 25%, and then third place gets the remaining 5%. That is a much bigger prize pool if you just base it off of pure numbers for one person compared to 5 people, right? That's just, if you get third place with 5 people, you're only getting like $5. Any effort that you put in is yours and yours alone, so if you put in, so for example, right, you just did your first 5 ranked matches and you got thrown in bronze because you had to go, your internet sucked, maybe you just played 3 bad matches, and so you spend the next like 3 to 4 days just learning strats, microing, practicing micro, practicing macro, learning how to do the most crisp of war chief rushes, right? And you put in all this effort, and you get ready for that first bronze match. You play it, and you just slam this kid, right? They're not even ready. That feeling of satisfaction, that effort, all of that trying, and you kill the next guy, and the next guy, and the next guy, and the next guy, and then next thing you know, you're gold 1, or whichever way they want to do it. You are right below plat, or you're on your way into plat. That is an incredible, it's an incredible feeling, because whatever feeling of satisfaction that you feel, it's because of you. It is the hard work you put in for your, your game. And of course, for some people, this is the best pro, and for other people, it's the worst. There's no team effort, I don't have to rely on my ally to do something that I might need to really power through, like if my ally's a goat, and I really need them to feast, and they just refuse to feast, I don't have to rely on them for that, Excuse me. So it's at least in the single player competitive scene, it's a very big plus to not have to rely on complete strangers to do things that might be very critical for you, right? The next one, so moving on real quick, we have the cons. And the biggest, and again, the most glaring for single player, if you lose, it's you. You don't have the excuse of, oh, well, this is unfair, this is unbalanced. Yeah, there's some wiggle room with that, but if you built 13 scout camps and then it didn't expect the wolf to come after you after the 3rd winter, it's on you. You lost because you're bad, The second one, this is more of the community aspect. The community itself becomes a little bit more isolated, and what I mean by that is, when you talk to people, you're only talking in a 1v1 standpoint. With games like StarCraft, right, there's a lot going on, and there's a whole lot of things that streamers and editors and content creators can work with but it's for the game. You know, there's no real interaction between other people besides in that 1v1 standpoint. You know, it's not like, oh well, let's try and find the most, you know, the most OP goat wolf build. There's no, you know, find the strongest, you know, what is the strongest you know, clan combination? Is it wolf bear? Is it goat bear? Is it goat wolf? You know, there's all of these limitless possibilities that basically get completely shut out because it's single player. You know, you're only playing with goat, you're only playing with bear, you're only playing with one of the currently the 4 clans. And for the last one, this is more of for the elite, the top 20% or the top 5% or 1% or whatever. You have this massive elitism that you will kind of face and see basically from probably gold 1. And when I say gold 1, I mean like the ranking is like gold 4, gold 3, gold 2, gold 1, plat 4, plat 3, you know. So you're at like gold 1 and above. You're gonna face this elitism where it's like, I put in all of these hours to get where I am, and you're below me, peasant. You know, it's this arrogance and elitism that you'll face because, you know, the people that got there, they really had to work hard to get there, and so they know that anyone that's above them is above them because they're better, and anyone that's below them is below them because they are better, you know. Which it makes sense, but again, it creates that elitist, like, just douchebaggery that, you know, no one really wants to deal with and no one wants to interact with. And so, oh, that's a face. Oh my god, that is a face. Sorry, hang on, let me. There we go. Hey, this is the fun wonders of doing it all in one take because I have no editing equipment. So, for multiplayer. This is for a multiplayer team competitive game. The biggest plus right now, it's a team game. You know, you get to interact and experience the game that a single player would never get to experience. You know, when you play a team game of StarCraft, it just doesn't feel right. You know, when and you'll see when you do it, you see what I mean. It's the game doesn't feel like it should be a team game. It feels like this is something that it should be one player versus another player, like a good old-fashioned chess match, you know? There shouldn't be 4 people, excuse me, trying to play with all the same pieces. It just feels weird. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't really fit right, and even the game itself doesn't really blend that well with a team aspect. Northgard, on the other hand, as the second point shows, it feels like it should be a team game, you know? Yes, it's always fun to watch 2 wolves fight each other in a competitive match, but it's even more interesting to see how a goat wolf handles against a wolf bear, or how a stag raven handles against a double goat, you know? You see and you feel like the game just, it kind of comes to life when you have more people doing more things in Northgard, you know? And even some of the game features, you know? Why is it that when you click feast, everyone gets the same benefits, right? If it's kind of one of those, like, yeah, that's a one-time sort of deal, but like, you can move sheep across, you know, your ally's tile. You can heal on ally's tile. Fun little tidbit for any of you nerds looking for some cheesy strats. You can actually steal your ally's shipwrecks. If you go to an ally's base and you right-click on their shipwreck, as scummy as it is, you can steal their shipwrecks, you know? And there's so much potential with that, you know, for a goat player when him and his wolf ally spawn in on Northgard, and let's say the wolf just happens to have double shipwreck. Yes, a wolf could use one shipwreck, but the goat could really use the other one as well, because then once they get the upgraded town hall and they start getting industrialists, you know, their economy is gonna soar, and that ability to work with that instead of just being just a goat or just a wolf gives you so much more opportunity to work with it. And of course, this last one is again, it's more community driven. It brings people together. Just last weekend, I was playing this fantastic 6-man 3v3 with other streamers, some content creators, and just having a great time. You know, it was fun to interact with other people instead of just playing by myself and streaming by myself and just kind of playing the game and hoping that, you know, I don't get rolled over. And now we come to, in my opinion, the kind of the more pressing issue. And what I mean by that is it's the dark side. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Video decided to crap out on me. So the first for the multiplayer cons, and this is kind of the most obvious one, as it states for the very first down below, you know, ELO hell. It's in CSGO, it's in Overwatch, it's in Dota, it's in League of Legends. There's a reason it's there, and it's not because the companies are trying to support it. You know, when you click, you know, when you go straight into matchmaking, you go into ranked, and you know, you get into that match of 5. You know, the first guy doesn't speak your native language. Second guy is doing this amazing Lenny build that he saw, and he practiced it like 30 times, but he's bronze 2, so you know he's not going to pull it off. Then you have that one guy that always picks the worst clan to play in the current meta because it's on the rise. Trust me, he has a reliable source. And then there's you, the GOAT player that's just trying to bring and support everyone up so that you can just try and just maybe get your win so that you can maybe get to Silver 4. You know, after a while, you know, and this is just basic human reaction. You know, if you have to deal with that game in and game out to the point where you just get absolutely fed up with it, and you go, you know, why do I have to put up with this? What's the first thing you do? You go straight to the community and you go, this is exactly why I hate playing in these team competitive games. Literally 3 out of 10 unplayable, because, you know, you hit a point where there's just so many people you can't deal with it. And this is where in a ranked competitive setting, it will kind of passively foster a toxic community, not because Shiro Games is ever going to want to do that, but just because you have so many people with so many different ways of doing things that you're inevitably going to have conflict, both good or bad, you know, right or wrong. There's always going to be conflict in it, just because you have one person that thinks, of course, you know, getting 3 Doc 4 Raven is always good, but then all they do is get fame and then let the other 2 teammates on their, you know, or other 3 players on their team just kind of try and win the game without the Raven player. And then once they get the 500 fame, they go and send about a whopping 3 mercenaries, and that's basically their entire use. So you know, it gets down to, it also adds to the kind of that nice little spice of the toxicity. It's the game, not me. There's no way someone like me would ever lose a game. Clearly, it's because Shiro Games didn't balance the game right. No, there's a reason you're in bronze and you have a win rate of, you know, 0.2, because you're bad. And that's kind of where the community as a whole also needs to try and come in and say, look, you know, if you make a mistake, you need to kind of take responsibility for it. And of course, every streamer and every content creator will always, you know, try and say, you know, there's no reason to preach hate. Always try and be a good person in the community. Everyone tilts, you know, it's natural. It's not like I'm going to pretend like I've never tilted or someone's gotten upset and I haven't reacted negatively. People do that. And in a multiplayer game, you're just more prone to do that. So that's pretty much everything I really wanted to address. I don't really have much, there we go, much else to say, because at least currently, since the game is still in early access, there's still a lot of time for Shiro Games to kind of figure out and decide what they want to do. And obviously for us as a community, there's even more opportunity for us to try and say, hey, this is what we think the game should be. And I'm not trying to make this as like a video that you should go single player or team competitive. I just think that this is something that needs to be addressed, because at least right now we do have a 1v1 setting, but we also have a 2v2 and 3v3, and all of these are open, and none of them have been really restricted, if you will, to what Shiro Games wants to do. So with that, I thank you all for being here today. I hope you guys have a good day, good afternoon, good night, and I'll see all you guys later. Talk to you soon. I have to switch hands because I have to stop the recording somehow, so talk to you later. Bye bye.